Hey everyone, it's Brian Strigler here, and today is another Wednesday, so that means I am going to give you the Wednesday wedding tips. And so interesting enough, probably about a month ago, I made a list of what I was going to talk about on every Wednesday, and then something happened a few days ago, and I decided to completely switch what I'm going to be talking about today. So all of this kind of, like I say, comes from an incident that happened. So I talked to a lot of brides, I talked to a lot of people, and I'm friends with a decent amount of people on Facebook. But anyway, so I was looking at this girl I had talked to about shooting her wedding probably like 9 months ago, and she didn't book me. And anyway, so I saw her post something a few days ago. And it was like, I am so angry about this photographer. She's completely unprofessional. We were supposed to do an engagement shoot the next day, and she canceled that night. And I don't know all the details, but from what I understand, the main reason the photographer didn't want to do it is because she didn't want to travel to the location the bride wanted to go to. Which I don't know how far away it is, but it might be like 20 minutes away from this photographer, just guessing. And sad to say, this is not the first time I've heard of experiences like this. There's actually a wedding venue right now that has at least 2 more weddings. I think the last one's supposed to be in October, and they sold the building. They sold the building, and they still have weddings left. And so now these brides and grooms are sitting there trying to figure out, one, can they still use the venue, and if not, where are they going to go for their wedding? And I've seen this happen several times with people in the wedding industry just not being not being trustworthy, not making very thoughtful decisions. And it blows my mind that this stuff happens. I would hope people get into the wedding industry because they like weddings and they care about people and they understand that this is an extremely important event. But again, like I said, I've seen people treat this industry like it's any other industry, and it's not. Okay, I'm not making burgers for people. I'm not selling books to people. I am dealing with people on a very, very, very important day. And it makes me so upset to see people treat weddings like it's not that, like it's not the most important day. So that makes me really sad. So what I'm going to talk about today is how can you find those trustworthy vendors? How can you test a vendor out and make sure that they are the right vendor? And that can be very scary. I know I've talked to lots of people and they're very paranoid and they're so worried, and sometimes like they even like are paranoid about me and they're really worried and like, well, what if you just don't show up? Why would I not show up? But I understand that now because I see a lot of these people with these horror stories about wedding vendors. So let's talk about how to figure out if the vendors are trustworthy or even finding them. So first thing I would do, if you are looking at certain wedding vendors, I would kind of run a background check. And I don't mean like literally going and filing a background check, but I would look and try and find as much information about them as possible. The first thing is I would look for a website. Do they have a website? Is it updated? Do they have lots of different things on it? Or is it just some really ghetto website? Or if they don't have a website, that would really scare me. Then I would also look for reviews. Okay, do they have a bunch of reviews from people? Are they good reviews, bad reviews? What are people saying? And to follow that up, ask other wedding vendors. Like, what do you think about this person? Most of the time, they'll tell you honestly how they feel. Ask your friends, okay? I mean, if you know people that have been just got married, they're going to have opinions. And if they had a bad experience with someone, they will probably tell you. This one sounds a little weird, but it's true. Facebook stalk them. If you can find their personal page and if you can see any of their posts, check it out. What kind of stuff are they posting? Okay, are they posting complaints all the time? Are they whining and moaning about everything? What are they posting on there? So check that out. Now, once you've kind of done a background check on them, and if everything kind of looks okay, I would move to like an actual face-to-face or a phone interview where you can talk to them and ask them questions. And that's when you're really going to figure out if this person's for you. So part of it, I think, is just, do you get along with this person? Do they sound like fun? Are you having a good time talking to them? I believe weddings are personal, and I think you need to get along with the people you work with, and you should have fun with them. So if they're feeling weird or you're not enjoying the experience, I probably wouldn't choose them. But besides that, when you're talking to them, I would ask them some questions. Like the first thing I would talk about is, are you full-time? So like, is this your full-time job or is this a hobby? And figure out how many weddings they do a year. I mean, if someone does 2 weddings a year, that's a little scary versus someone who goes to like 100 weddings a year. There's some DJ companies that do way over 100 weddings a year. So which one are you going to trust? The person who does 2 or the person who does 100? It's pretty clear that one of them is a little better and probably has more experience than the other. So besides that, I would ask them about their equipment. So that may not apply to every wedding vendor, but talk about their equipment. Do they have professional equipment? Do they have backup equipment if something breaks? And I think that'll give you an idea of how professional they are. If they only have, for instance, with photographers, if they only have one camera, I don't think I would trust them to photograph my wedding, because if that one camera breaks, then they can't photograph your wedding. Okay. And the biggest point I would make, guys, when you look at the cost and you look at what they're providing, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And you're going to kind of get what you pay for in this industry. So I mean, if you're spending $500 on a photographer, you're going to get $500 photographer quality. And I've seen that. I've seen some photographers start off like $500. Me and my wife will show up and we will shoot 12 hours on that wedding day. We will shoot engagements. We will shoot bridals. We will give you a wedding album and all this stuff. And it makes no sense. There's no way someone can do that well for $500. So in general, if the price just seems way too good to be true, and they're just throwing all this stuff at you, then they're probably not professional, and they probably don't have a lot of experience. And I would just be a little wary of that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure there's something, and I'm not sure if I can see if anyone said anything on here. And if I'm out of focus, I apologize. I'm still trying to figure out this new system that I've got here, and it's fun trying to figure things out for the first time. Okay, so hopefully that's been kind of helpful. If you kind of follow those guidelines, you'll have a much better idea if this wedding vendor is trustworthy or if there's someone you don't want to have at your wedding. As always, guys, I'm here to help. So if you have any questions about wedding vendors in this area, message me and I will tell you my truthful opinion about other wedding vendors. And most of the time it's really good. I love most wedding vendors. So I will tell you kind of my experience with the different companies around here and the different things. And if there's anything else I can do to help you, feel free to comment or message below. All right, guys, I'm out. Have a good Wednesday.